And I'm sure you're going to know that that's a BMW Supra. I gotta edit this. Yeah guys, I know I'm a little bit late to the game. The Toyota GR Supra was introduced to Malaysians at the beginning of 2023. We are already well into 2024 and I'm just getting the chance to drive the GR Supra. Of course, I've driven the previous gen non-GR version and I kind of liked it as well. But the GR Supra just takes it all up a notch. For Malaysians, we get two variants. We get, of course, the much beloved 6-speed manual, and then you get this one, the 8-speed automatic. Both have its, its perks, and both have something that you will definitely like and hate about it. But since I'm driving the automatic, I'm just going to focus on this one. 388 PS, 500 Newton meters of torque, all transferred to the back wheels through a 8-speed ZF gearbox. And simply put, I'm sure you know this already, the GR Supra has a German cousin in the form of the BMW Z4. Everything in this car, well, except for the shell, almost everything in this car is BMW, except for the steering wheel. Everything else in here is BMW. Would you feel shortchanged or overpriced? I'll answer that later. But at 658,000 ringgit, the GR Supra automatic is far from cheap. And if you're thinking that there are better buys out there for the same amount of money, you wouldn't be wrong. In fact, there are some really interesting buys out there for that same amount of money. So I really am having a tough time justifying the price of this car. And I really want to be that idiot that tells you that, hey, if you have to worry about the price, it just means you can't afford it. Idiots. But this is one of those cars that perhaps you buy if you've, are sitting on a ton of cash, you've got them all already, and you just want another car in your collection, then yeah, go for it. Or you got a ton of cash and you're mindless and you really are gila Supra, then yes, go for it. But beware that there are going to be some people that take the piss out of you by saying congratulations, you bought a very expensive Z4. That is bound to happen, and that is something that I guess that you should be ready for, regardless of whether you buy this on the grey market, on the parallel import market, or brand new. But there is a lot to love about the Supra. I mean, I love the sitting position. It's small. The car is tiny. It's horrible for a 40-plus-year-old with a back problem, with some fats on the side, and a high cholesterol problem to actually get in and out of this car. That's that's a given, I think. And if you are slightly taller or wider than me, then all the best to you. But I am a little more than your average Malaysian. So perhaps the average Malaysian will be able to get comfortable in here. But besides its size, I really like its sitting position. I really like cars, those classic GTs where the cabin is at the back and you get that long elongated bonnet. I love cars like that. They just don't make them like that anymore. Nowadays it's all, mid-engine, cabin at the center, short overhangs. This is proper. In my books at least, I like classic GTs. But can you go touring on this car? Well, I guess you can go touring in any car if you want to, but whether it's comfortable or not is a different question. This car feels like it's better on track than it is driving long distances. You definitely could, no doubt about it. But it just feels like it's built for the track. The front end is alive. The steering wheel is alive. I mean, I would have liked it a bit more communicative for sure, but it's just nice the way it is. There's a lot of things that I wish could be better as well. I'm approaching this review from a day-to-day sports car angle, because as I said earlier, there's a lot of things about this car that have been said already that I cannot say. Let me rephrase that. There's a lot of things that have been said already about this car, so there's nothing new that I can say. So, well, what about on a day-to-day basis? Let's approach it from this angle, because on the parallel import market, you can buy a GR Supra with that 3-litre twin-scroll turbocharged engine for roughly under 360,000 ringgit. It's, I think, about 2 years old right now. For under 300, this after I did my research, unless that dealer is bluffing lah, but I saw quite a few available. But we all know how used car salesmen are. And anyway, if you do manage to find one under 360,000, then I think it's not a bad buy. It's actually quite a nice car for that kind of money, which is roughly around the price of a 2 to 3 year old Z4 as well. Should you get a Supra instead? Well, I think the Supra brand is more sexier than a Z4, but the Z4 is a drop top, so depending on what you want, I would go for the Supra. It's not because of the brand, but I just like the design. Yes, I like the design. I know a lot of people say, oh, it's an ugly design, what the hell was Toyota thinking, God. So, but I like the design of the Supra. I think it's something, you look at it, you know it's a Supra, alright? I also think that what were Toyota thinking, because it does not look anything like the original. But you really can't talk about the original because it's nowhere near the original Supra. The original Supra is gone. It's relegated to the pages of history. And these days, it's all about cost. It's all about making sense. It's all about hugging the trees. It's all about that. So we will never see cars like the original Supra again, unless somebody in the Toyota board flips a switch and, you get my drift. Anyway, for under 360,000 ringgit, I think the Supra makes a lot of sense if you're buying it from the parallel import market. But there are things about it on a day-to-day basis that I find very annoying, such as the fact that, I don't have a place to put my smart tag. Of course, you could get RFID, but $30 for a sticker. Well, don't mind me. I'm still yet to come to terms with RFID. I still prefer a smart tag because as I go from car to car, there's a bunch of cars at home. So I don't need multiple stickers. I just need to carry my smart tag around. Or I just leave a touch and go card in my wallet. So, not enough place to keep the smart tag. The side pockets are not big enough. The water bottle, the bottle holder, well, if you do this, then it sort of, sacrifices on your arm, on your space, on your armrest. So that's kind of annoying as well. And there's a lot of things that I think could be better, as I've already mentioned, getting in and out. I also don't like the fact that the boot doesn't have a button at the back. So every time you want to open the boot, you have to come here and press on this button by the door at the side. So not very convenient. But I can see myself living with this on a day-to-day basis. It's a very easy car to drive. Of course, you can say, oh, Kashi, sports car need to be manual, ma. Totally agree with you. But on a day-to-day basis, this is not a bad deal either. 0 to 100, 4.4 seconds or 4.1 seconds, which is slightly quicker than the manual as well, just 0.4, 0.5 seconds quicker. And the automatic version, which is what we are in right now, comes with adaptive cruise control with stop and go function. All of these technologies make this car a decent thing to live with on a day-to-day basis. And a 3-liter straight 6 engine, the road tax also not very expensive lah, right? Rather than going all out 4-liter, 5-liter V8s. Of course, if you are gila kuasa, if you are mad about power, then yes, full power to you, go for it. But I'm saying that this 3-liter engine is not bad to live with either. It's thirsty, there's no doubt about it. Let me see if I can pull up the figures. Uh, 11.5 liters per 100 km. I've seen somewhere about 12 point something, 12.8 liters per 100 km, and I've also seen about 9 liters per 100 km. This is a nice corner. Excuse me while I have a bit of fun. Oh, nice. I just love how obliging the front end and that chassis is. I just love it. So I also think it's just the right amount of power for day-to-day usage. Do you really need 600-700 horses under your right foot on a daily basis? I don't think so. I think 385 horsepower is just nice. You know, you can smoke a lot of cars that try to race you on the road. You can have some fun, and which brings me to my next point. When you drive cars like this, I don't know about you, but I don't like attention, right? So I don't like people looking at me, pointing at the car. I just, you know, feel like going into my cave and kind of very embarrassing. And the other thing is, everybody will try to race you. Everybody will try to race you, man. Oh, everybody from the Vira and Wajah convert to the Type Rs, to the Subarus, to the other day I had a, what car was it? I had a version 10 STI trying to race me. Evos, that day I had a Evo 3 trying to race me. I was more in awe of his car. I just wanted to give him a thumbs up, but he wanted to race me. I was like, nah, dude. Anyway, let's listen to this. Mother-in-law. Super nice, man. That sound that it makes is just perfect as well. That's a beautiful sound of a straight 6, and that's not even in sport mode. Get pedal shifters, and now it's louder. Woo! Top speed 250 kilometers per hour. Oh, this is so nice. And this is the thing that I love about the Supra, that it's just enough power. It's just the right size to go about your daily business. Yes, it is a bit small if you are wide like me at the sides and at the front as well. And if you're tall, it's gonna be a little bit small for you getting in and out. You know, you need to be a bit of a contortionist to get comfortable in here. I just love the way this thing sounds. Woo! And this is on your regular exhaust, standard exhaust. Okay, very, very, very illegal speeds. Got my heartbeat racing. Whew. Nice, very nice. That's the beauty about the GR Supra. It just does not make sense to buy it, you know, on at 600 at its list price. 655,000 is just very difficult to justify. But from the parallel import market, if you have the money, then this is definitely worth considering. Of course, you can think about other cars as well. The BMWs, you can get the F10 M5s, you can get all of those cars as well. But this is a proper sports car. It has that beautiful silhouette. I love that ducktail design at the back. I love it. And I think that if I had the roof box for my luggage, I could drive this thing to Chiang Mai. Easy. Of course, I'd probably spend a bomb on fuel, but that's besides the point. But if you're interested in the Supra, then I think it's also very important for you to know that there is going to be a lot of haters that are going to take the piss out of you by saying that you're not really driving a real Supra, that you're driving a pirated version of a BMW Z4. Keyboard warriors are going to have a field day taking the piss out of you. Your friends are going to turn into haters. Your haters may just turn into your friends. You never know, right? But it's also important to know that the two versions of the Supra, the 2.0 and the 3.0, if you're going to be interested in buying one, always go for the GR Supra. Whether it's a manual or whether it's an automatic, that is always going to be your choice. If it's going to be a daily driver and you choose an auto and you live in KL or any congested city, then I'll fully respect your choice, because driving a manual on a daily basis in traffic, no matter what they say, it's never going to be easy. Been there, done that. The one good thing about driving a manual is that it's the ultimate, tool to ensure that you're never on your phone while you're driving. But besides all of that, I think you're going to be making a great choice with the GR Supra. I will respect you. You will have my respect, because I think the GR Supra is a good car. It's fun. It may have all that BMW things. It may have some BMW logos around the engine bay. It may have a BMW dashboard and interior. It may sound like a goat, but I think the GR Supra is a good car. It's a good looking car. I also think that it will stand the test of time really well, because ultimately 10 years from now you're going to look at this car. I'm sure you're going to know that that's a Toyota Supra, no matter what anybody else tells you. So this is what I mean by it's kind of difficult to get in and out of if you're wide and tall. Now the other thing that I really can't stand about this is that I know, like, we're not supposed to talk about horns in our reviews and such, but it's a Supra. You can put in the horn from a truck and you can get away with it because it's a Supra. Right now it just sounds like a goat. Anyway, over the years I have come to really love the design of the Supra, and this is something about BMW design. I know Toyota designed it, but bear with me, yeah. There's something about BMW designs and designs from some other car makers that when you first see it, makes you go WTF, right? But after some time, it kind of grows on you. Like, as I was saying earlier in my video, I really like the long bonnet, the cabin at the back, the short ducktail at the back over here. I think it looks really good over time, and I think this will age quite gracefully as time passes by. Anyway, just a quick walk around. So because this is the GR Supra, so you get lighter wheels that according to some reports are about 1.2 kilograms lighter than per wheel, yeah, lighter than the non-GR Supra, so that reduces unsprung mass. And then from the front you of course get matrix LED headlamps, if I'm not mistaken, and this work really well. Like in very dim or low light conditions, this illuminate the road ahead really very well. I gotta credit is due where it's deserved. Anyway, when I first saw the Supra, I really didn't like these plastic panels at the side. You get more of that at the top over here and some at the front, but I've come to learn that all of these serve a purpose, either to channel air or to reduce sounds around the car. And then if you come from the side here, it's just again a very good looking car, no doubt about it. If you see this car on the road, you will immediately know it's a Supra. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't hide that fact. And then from the back here, it's just too much for me, this Supra emblem. But anyway, back to my point, that you cannot open the bonnet over here, which sorry, the boot. You cannot open the boot over here because there's no button. So how do you open the boot then? So you open the boot by pressing this button over here, which is, you know, a bit of a pity. And then only then can you open the boot. And the boot is, I think, decent, good enough. It's a sports car anyway. What's underneath the boot space, you say? Not much. I don't think you can open this. There is no panel. Anyway, I'll try to get this open later, but for now I can't. So, and I really like the Le Mans style GT racer fog lamps at the center over there. Those standard exhausts sound really good, no doubt, as I've already shown you during acceleration. The double diffusers again look fantastic. Now let's go check out the engine. Now before we go up to the engine, I would just like to show you from the side, because it has this thing like a clamshell bonnet. This looks really good. Notice that the lines are here, and when I open it, so this entire front end, which is actually massive. See, I like this. This is another very classic design, the clamshell bonnet. So I like this classic elements of the Supra. As I've said earlier, the long bonnet, the clamshell bonnet, looks really good. Anyway, the placement of the engine is slightly towards the back of the front axle, and this is what gives it a very neutral feel in corners. So usually when engines are placed right above the axle, you get a very front heavy feel, but not here, not with the Supra. It doesn't always want to understeer into such, especially when you're pushing into corners. This is a very tail happy car as well. Not to say that I've been drifting it around, but it is. Anyway, 3-litre straight 6 turbocharged engine, 388 PS, 500 Newton meters of torque, quite thirsty, and the thing is, it's quite a looker. So you can show up to car meets, just open it like this, and by itself, it's already a good looking car. Especially in this blue. I like the blue and gunmetal grey contrast. It makes it look very elegant. Anyway guys, so let me know what you think. Brand new, 655,000. You buy it from a parallel importer, you can get it for below 360k, which in my opinion makes a lot more sense. And because it's practically BMW underneath, so there's a lot of spare parts already available in the market. Maintaining this is quite straightforward. You just have to make sure that you meet all the service intervals. The gearbox oil, change it as often as you can, and this thing should last you quite a while. Of course, I wish that it was a little bit more original. Even things like the seats are BMW. Those are things that could have been better, I feel. But anyway, the way Toyota has been selling the Supra, I think it's been quite popular as well, quite well received. So can't really go wrong with the Supra, especially for that 300 plus price range. Of course, there are better cars out there, but as I said, this is a Supra. There's no mistaking this design. And anyway, if it's a sports car that you want for this price range, it's difficult to outdo the Supra. It's a very classic design. I love it in this blue. It's very easy to drive it on a day-to-day basis. It's very easy to live with it on a day-to-day basis. Yes, it's a little bit thirsty. Yes, it needs more storage space, but ultimately you will learn to live with it. And the good thing about this is it can be somewhat of a GT as well. So if you live in Penang or Johor and you're constantly coming into KL, this is a nice car to traverse the long distances with, especially for its price range and for a sports car. If you're single and you want to mingle, this is a car that will probably get you a lot of attention. And if you're married, this car will make you wish that you were single. As usual, do consider subscribing. Thank you for watching.